Welcome to State of Mind. A state is ephemeral. It's where you are right now, not where you'll always be.
This podcast is for the people who followed the rules of the game and found themselves asking, now what? Here we talk about recalibration, alignment, and what it means to write your own rules. I'm Kanwulia.
And I'm Lia.
And this is
State of Mind. All right.
All right. Your jeans are really cute.
Thank you.
I've been looking for a
Wide
wash
leg.
like this. No, like a wash like this without
I guess
the
these are
yellow
bootcut.
stitching contrast.
Oh, does that come up a lot?
No, that's very common.
Really? Why? Yellow stitching?
I'm sure you've seen it. Like a dark jean.
Yeah, I have seen it, but I didn't know it was like common.
I feel like I see that more often than I see a dark stitch.
Interesting. This is Mother.
It's cute. Okay, Mother. I've never tried their jeans.
Yeah, super comfortable.
Do you wear a long? Because
They don't have. I don't think they differentiated.
Oh, but like the pant length is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. When I'm watching podcasts, I never know how tall the podcasters are.
Yeah.
But for the audience who might be curious, we are very tall.
Yeah.
Like we're taller than the average
Yeah.
woman.
Yeah.
By
The
several
average woman was
inches.
To say the least.
Yeah.
Oh wait, you're taller than me. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 5'11". How tall are you?
I'm like almost 5'10".
Oh.
I just say 5'10".
I didn't realize I was a full inch taller than you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
The more you know.
Yeah. Anyway, how are you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, just another day in Momdanistan. Yes. Yeah, we have fake spring right now, so it was like really sunny outside. But this time I know to not believe that we're totally out of the winter tundra.
Oh no, it's
yet.
just beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How have you been?
I've been good. It's been a very cozy Sunday, which I love.
Oh my God. Wait, okay. We talked about this. Did you listen to R&B today?
No, I didn't, but I thought about it.
You still got some hours. So the reason why I asked Kanwulia if she listened to R&B is because R&B music just hits different on Sundays. Like it's literally the vibe. Like when you're thinking of like, what day of the week? It sounds like a silly question, but like what day of the week is R&B? It's Sunday, right?
You know what? I grew up on Christian music, and every Sunday, I normally listen to some sort of gospel music. Like I'm playing gospel music in the background or whatever. And I thought to put some music on this morning, and it just didn't happen.
God was like, not today.
But yeah.
Okay, well, you can try it when you go home.
So I just finished Carrie Soto Is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Have you read any of her books?
Mm-mm.
The Seven Husbands of
Oh,
Evelyn
yes,
Hugo?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, I feel like a lot.
You said a lot of names just then.
So the title of the book is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Hugo. Maybe it's Hugo. That's a well-known book by Taylor Jenkins Reid. There are a couple of others. But anyway, I just finished Carrie Soto Is Back. And without giving any spoilers away, there's this part in the book where her friend, we'll call him friend, is telling her, giving her advice before one of her important like games. And he's like, focus on self 2. Don't focus on self 1. Focus on self 2. And the idea is that self 1 is the part of you that is constantly striving and pushing to prove. And self 2 is the part of you that just abides and is. And he's like, be self 2. You don't have to prove that you're a good tennis player. Just be a good tennis player. And I've been thinking about that all week. And my tendency to live in the self 1. I am such a self 1 person. And I think as a rule follower, that's sort of been my MO. And yeah, I wanted to talk about that with you today because I wanted to get your take on this idea and see if that resonates with you.
Yeah. I love that. So to sum up, what is self 1 and what is self 2 again?
Yeah, so self 1 is the part of you that is constantly seeking to prove. And self 2 is the part of you that is confident in their abilities and abides in being who they are.
Yeah. I recently heard someone say there's human being and then there's human doing.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Self 1 sounds like the human doing and self 2 just sounds like the human being.
I
Like
love
you don't
that
have
play
to
on
do
words.
you don't have to do very much than just like be yourself.
Yeah. Does that idea resonate? It sounds like it does.
Yeah, it does. Well, in the book, how did that coach come to realize that she was operating as a self 1 and not self 2? Was it like over time, or was it like a moment?
Yeah, I mean, it's over time. The book explores ideas of women's empowerment. Yes, that's like a common theme that Taylor Jenkins Reid writes about, but also identity and success. And her idea of success seems to be built on being able to win each game, win each match, and get the most amount of accolades. But of course, the line keeps moving as talent becomes more and more competitive over time. And it's from this tendency that her friend speaks into her life. And it's like, be more of a self 2 person. Like, you've already amassed all of these accolades in your life. You don't need to continue proving that you're good enough. Like the world sees that you're good enough.
Yeah.
Just
yeah. No, that definitely resonates. And I think it's also when you're so used to just like striving for things, like that's all you know as well. So it does take a bit of unlearning to just be like, oh, at what point are you finally okay with all that you've amassed so far? Because if you've only ever known to keep moving forward and keep reaching for something in front of you, that's what your brain is going to like revert back to all the time. And so that resonates with me in the way that I'm sure it also resonates with you. Like, we had to embody that mentality, but it is a bit of a double-edged sword of, yes, there's so much good that comes with being so driven and goal-oriented, but that kind of keeps you on that treadmill of like never reaching a destination.
Yeah.
So I am very much trying to embody that self 2 mentality, because if you just keep striving, I mean, which is great because it'll help unlock many more levels to come. But if you're always looking to unlock and strive for something, you're never going to be satisfied either. Yeah. Or maybe there's like a healthy way of approaching it. Like, yes, keep striving for it, but also look back to see how much ground you've covered as well.
Yeah. I think striving can be good. Like, I don't think striving is always bad. I think striving is good when it comes from a secure place. When it comes from just a self-love of seeing what you're capable of and pushing yourself to new heights. But it's a bad place when it's rooted in inadequacy. Like, I have to strive so that I can be accepted, or so that I can love myself, or so that I know that I'm good enough. Growing up, that's where it was for me, right? Like, I did all the things I was told because I believed that, and part of this is true. I believe that it would lead to a future of security. If I got good grades, got into a good school, studied a good major, I would be secure. But then it became, I have to be the best at this, because if I'm not the best, then like my security is threatened. It's healthy to strive. It's healthy to see what we're capable of and push ourselves there. And it's exciting too. Like, I love seeing how much faster I can run after like 6 months of training, or how much better I can cook that meal after trying different recipes, whatever it might be. I just love seeing improvement over time. And I know an episode ago or 2 episodes ago, you had mentioned that you're really into self-development. I think that that's a great thing. But it becomes a bad thing when our identity is rooted in it and it's from a place of inadequacy. Where it's like, I have to strive so that I can prove that I'm good enough to myself, to the world, whatever. Or even I have to strive so that I'm worthy of love. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that is a good distinction to make. Like, is it coming from a place of feeling like you're not enough and that's why you constantly need to keep chasing? Or are you doing it for yourself, or are you doing it for other people? There's so many layers to this, I think. Self 1, self 2. Yeah, I think about this, and like, I have like so many nieces and nephews, and they all have their own personalities. And I just see how, like, yes, there are some rambunctious ones who just really just do whatever they want, which makes it hard on, and we'll see if this ties into what you're saying at all, which makes it a little more difficult for the parents than the kids who are very like obedient rule followers. It's like very easy for the parents and everyone around them, but in them making it easy for other people, they're also kind of stifling a part of themselves too. So like them making things easy for other people is going to unfortunately make things difficult for them in the long run, or as they get older.
Do you feel like they're stifling a part of themselves?
Okay. I mean, if you're always, I see it on like extreme ends of the spectrum, like one who's marching to the beat of their own drum and just doing whatever they want, like you can't really tell them what to do, versus the other end of the spectrum where they are very people pleasing and they want to make sure that they keep the peace and just like are a good child and doing right by their parents and like their loved ones, which is great, and it comes from such a good place of intention. But I do think it will unfortunately kind of set them back a bit, but they can unlearn it. I can see this so clearly because I'm that person. Yeah, same. Like having followed the rules, like when you're following the rules, it just makes things easier for whoever is setting the rules in place, right? And you grow to learn like, oh, okay, this is what they like, this is what they don't like you're constantly like outsourcing and making sure that you're keeping the peace for someone else, but you start to lose sight of like, okay, what about me? Like, what do I want? Right? And I think that's why we've come to this stage of being the rule followers, and why it's not so natural for us to just be like, oh yeah, for sure, I'm so down this route, this is exactly what I stand for, and I'm standing 10 toes down for it, versus the situation that we're in right now, which is like a learning process of getting to understand ourselves
and how to write our own rules. That's really interesting because I do think that there is a benefit to following the rules, especially when we're young, right? I mean, it's led us to some of like the successes we have seen throughout our lives. For you, following a coach and winning multiple medals at the Olympics, getting into great schools, etc. Like I think that there are some benefits to following the rules, but I like your point about constant outsourcing, because I think that's when it becomes a problem. And it's like when we're constantly outsourcing thought and we don't know how to think for ourselves. We're over-reliant on the rules that were written by other people, and we no longer know what our own like internal compass sounds like. It takes a lot of practice, like you said, to learn and unlearn the outsourcing of thought. It's definitely it's good to see the pros and the cons behind everything. Outsourcing of thought that you had mentioned, but also the benefit of following the rules. I think it just comes down to everything is good in moderation. And also not everything is black and white. Also something that has really become very clear to me as I'm becoming more of an adult. Like everything is very nuanced and everything is in the gray. But to that point of feedback, yes, like I said, I'm constantly trying to get better, but then that lends me to over indulging in that side of things. And when I was younger, even until recently, really putting so much emphasis on other people's opinions. Just like when you're have an openness to learn and get better, you keep seeking feedback, but it comes to a point where you probably know more than anyone else would know, especially when it's your body. Like you can't put so much reliance on other people to tell you how you should be feeling, which I definitely experienced so much of when I was swimming. Because yes, like, to your point, like when you're younger, like you are totally new to things, and like there is so much that you can learn, but it does get to a point, and I think like yes, in swimming, in career, in life in general, like you need to just be able to recognize when you've learned quite a good amount and when you can start taking autonomy again. I think that line, that inflection point between
learning and starting to take charge is a very easily overlooked line that can be blurred.
Yeah, I really like that. I think that the best rules are those that equip you to learn how to listen to yourself.
I'm locked in. I was like, I think I know exactly what you're saying. Yes. Giving you just enough room to breathe, to have your own thoughts, but not totally telling you exactly what to think at every single second.
Yeah, exactly. This reminds me of growing up, my mom would always be like, do something. And typical child fashion, I'm like, why do I have to do that? And my mom's response was always, because a Y has a tail and 2 branches, which is...
Wait, what?
Because a Y has a tail and 2 branches.
Ooh.
It's... I don't know if it's something that all Nigerian parents say, or if it's just something that I feel like it's not something my mom made up, but if she did,
you're like, this is some proverb. I don't know.
Yeah, but she would always say that, and I was so annoyed with that response because, I mean, in my mom's defense, I was a kid that had so many questions. Like I was like that curious kid to the max, and I was also always asking why. So I understand why she, would kind of dismiss me with a saying like that. But at the same time, I do think one of the ways we can help reinforce self-thought, even within rules, is understanding the objective behind the rule.
Right.
Like answering the why sometimes.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And as rule followers, it's on us to sort of ask ourselves why. Why am I doing this thing? It also makes me think of like the source of the rules we followed. You and I have navigated so many different spaces, and our identities have been a source of like the rules that we've had to abide by. So examples, as a daughter of an immigrant mother, there's a code for like the first gen person. And I didn't know this until I got older and I was talking to other first gens. And they're like, oh yeah, your experience was like that too. There's like a set of rules that we follow. As a Black woman in corporate America, there are rules. The list goes on. What are some of like the sources of rules that you've experienced in your life?
I was just thinking of like immigrant parent things. That's why I was just like chuckling. But I want to go back to the what you were talking about like right before that about
what was I talking about?
Should we rename the pod? Like, what were we talking about?
This is 30.
What were we talking about? Asking why.
Oh,
yes,
yeah,
I'm also
why.
very much like that's how I learned too. But I think it was also just like being a rule follower. As much as I did want to know why, and maybe of the times where I would ask why, and maybe similar to the situation with your mom, like when she wouldn't really have an answer or just didn't have the time to give you a whole backstory. It's so easy for people of authority to just be like, well, just do it. Like, why are you asking? So one, not only did it make it like difficult to maybe like even in school, especially too, if I don't understand what is the intention behind what we're doing or what are we trying to accomplish, and you're told to just do it because it's the way that it's always been done or because they don't have an answer, it just isn't really a conducive way to learning, I don't think. Also, it's just... the more you get to ask why, the more you get to actually understand where things are coming from,
Right.
and why they're done the way that they are done, and also how you can form your own opinions around it too. Knowing the why is so important, and that's why I love ChatGPT so much. Now every question I ask, I have an answer now. Yeah. Anyway, that's a tangent. The first generation, or no, the immigrant parent thing. What was the second question?
So we've talked about following a lot of rules, and I'm curious to know what environments, institutions wrote the rules we followed. So for example, for me, being first/second generation, there is a rule book I follow that comes with that. And I didn't realize that until I've met other immigrants, and they're like, oh yeah, I did that too. So for example, you have to go to college. Definitely. I never questioned whether I wanted to go to college or not. It was a given. Like, from kindergarten, I knew that I was going to college, whether I wanted to or not. And so from K through 12, the things I did were setting me up to get into the school that and also pursue a type of degree. Okay, so I'll stop there. That's one example. Were there any like...
Yeah, I can't think of anything, but just thinking about the example that you gave of college, I'm just like, oh yeah, that's a no-brainer. But maybe because I can't think of it because it's so ingrained in me, in my thinking, that I don't know how to separate like what is my reality and like what was an option.
It's funny. Yeah, it wasn't until undergrad, like, my freshman year, I was chatting with a friend. He was like, yeah, I wasn't sure if I wanted to go to college or not. My dad was like, I could go to trade school or I could take a year off to think about it. And that was the first time in my life that I realized that some kids were given the option to not go to college. And I was like, oh, wow, it was just a new concept to me that there were options beyond school, just because that wasn't true in my household. And for the record, I didn't come from like a very well-off background. So the mandate that I went to college also came with the mandate that I figure it out.
Okay, I think that in and of itself, like figuring things out for yourself is a huge like first gen, second gen thing, right? Like I don't think I'm saying anything too revelatory or anything right now. Oh yeah, I mean that in and of itself is just like a whole other conversation. Like when people are talking about like nepo babies, there's so much more advantage to that than that people are even overlooking. Like just being in those rooms, like having these conversations, things that we had to seek out for ourselves, like reaching out to people for career chats or something, are just things that maybe nepo people or just people of like privileged backgrounds of generational wealth have just, it was like a bedtime story to them, you know, like that comparison growing up. Like these are things that are so innate to them. I guess using the analogy of like going to college and the college track being that no-brainer for us would have been like I don't know, like tax evasion, like tactics.
That's hilarious.
for people who like just know the rules of the game because they grew up around like the rules of the game and they didn't even need to be told that, right? It was just like conversations that were going on around them or like the people that they knew that they were surrounded with. It's just like you are an amalgamation of the people that you surround yourself with, right? Maybe that was a bit of a tangent as well.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we could go back to the book. So self 1, self 2, anything else that like resonated with you there?
Yeah, I guess so. In this book, it's very clear to see how self 1 and self 2 shows up for her in the area of sports. I think part of the reason it resonates with me is because it doesn't just show up at these milestone moments. It shows up day to day. And so something I've been thinking about is, when do I live in the self 1? Like, where does the self 1 show up on a random Tuesday, for example? And for me, I would say it shows up in the workplace a lot. Like the thought process is like, okay, I have to present to LT in a couple minutes, for example. And I'm constantly rehearsing what I'm going to say. And it's not from the place of wanting to make sure that I'm communicating it the right way. It's from the place of wanting to make sure I don't end up sounding like a dumbass, you know, in front of all of these like super smart people. That's that self 1. And I think changing it to the self 2 would sound something like still rehearsing what I'm going to say so that I'm communicating as clearly as possible to people whose times are limited. So that's my reflection on the self 1, self 2 space. I'm curious, like, are there places for you where you feel like this self 1, self 2 tension shows up?
Yeah, what you said reminded me of when I was at HBS and I was like really shy, or my heart rate would always like raise, right? Like in class, right before I'm about to volunteer to say something, or like scared that I'm gonna get cold called on.
Oh, give give some context on what like the cold call is
Okay,
at
yeah.
HBS.
HBS, I think it's just HBS in Darden, like UVA business school, that do this like Socratic method. So Socratic method is like it's more of a dialogue. They're like, instead of being lectured at, like in the traditional sense of universities and business schools, you're actually meant to respond and give your input and your opinions and ideas in the classroom, speaking with the professor. And a cold call is just like when you're not volunteering to speak, but the professor singles you out and calls on you and asks you for like an answer or your opinion. So everyone gets super like anxious just walking into classes, but there is a way to game the system. But that's another, I mean, I'll just say very briefly, you just want to like volunteer to speak as much as possible so that the professor doesn't have to resort to cold calling you because you're already speaking a good enough amount. But like if you have not spoken in a while, like you might be at risk for getting cold called anyway. Oh no. Oh, how do people keep track of what they're saying? Do we need to like start taking notes? Oh my gosh.
Sorry. Okay. You were talking about self one versus self two.
Right.
That's
okay.
Right, yeah.
So I remember I was asking a professor, how do you just like get over your nerves? Which I don't think there's no easy fix. I think you just have to get the reps in and eventually, I think that's just with everything. Eventually it'll stop becoming so daunting because you've done it a few times. But this professor was just saying, instead of feeling like you're being evaluated when you speak up in class, think about it as you sharing your opinion.
I remember you telling me that.
Oh yeah. It was nice to hear, but it didn't make me any less nervous.
Yeah.
But that reminded me, like your work context and speaking up in meetings and the nerves behind that reminded me of that advice.
Yeah, I really like that advice. So it's like that is a perspective shift. But when perspective shifts don't help, then what? Something I just thought of is that anxiety response totally resonates. The sweaty palms, the spiked heart rate.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. Our body's nervous. Our nervous system is activated. If the perspective shift doesn't help settle that, then the next step is breath work.
Yes.
I was looking back at like some lessons I learned in 2023, which is like when we were in the thick of HBS.
Yeah.
And one of the things I'd written down was inhale 4 seconds, hold 7 seconds, exhale 8 seconds. And I remember doing that a lot in class, like right before I was supposed to speak. Regardless of whether or not it was a cold call. But when I knew I was about to raise my hand, I would do the whole inhale, hold, exhale. And again, as we're having this conversation, I'm thinking about that in the context of work and more generally, like how I can remind myself to go from that like desire to prove to just like being state. Sometimes it's just a matter of calming my nervous system down with, yes, a perspective shift, but then also with deep breaths.
Yes, yeah. That is such a like important take. I think if you're mentally, emotionally, like there's just no getting out of your head, try to figure out what you can do physiologically, and what you do physically will influence, right? It can't help but influence how you'll start to think mentally and emotionally. My thing, I remember doing this in undergrad, like whenever I would have to speak out, like I would just count down because I like just like have no choice. So whenever I'm like, oh, like should I speak? Like, I'll just be like in my head, 3, 2, 1, put my hand up. And I remember, and then I brought that also over to HBS as well, because it was just like you have no choice, right? Once your hand is up, like you're literally just like making yourself so obvious. Like the professor has no choice but to like call on you. So it is.
Ooh, I really like that. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, maybe like in a meta sense, it's kind of like this era that I'm in, right? Like just like committing more and doing more. And saying yes to things, like before I talk myself out of it.
Yes.
A more extreme version of that would be like if someone were to like jump off of a cliff or like go paragliding, bungee jumping, right? You have no choice but to like 3, 2, 1. You just gotta do it. You have to do it as soon as you count down to 1.
Yeah. I love that example because I love the juxtaposition between what you're saying now and what you said earlier with your nieces or your nephews, like the ones that are rule followers making themselves small versus counting down and making yourself seen by putting your hand up. There's something to that. I think that when you are so used to following the rules that you make yourself small, the counter also needs to be doing the uncomfortable thing, like making yourself visible, even when your heart is racing and your palms are sweating. And you may not always feel ready. The hope is that over time it gets easier, but sometimes it doesn't. And when it doesn't, having some sort of tactic to like calm your nerves so that you can execute in a way that represents your true potential and it's true to what you actually want to say. That was another thing at HBS when I did force myself to put my hand up and I was actually called on. Sometimes I could push past the nerves and like say what I meant to say, but other times I was like, oh shoot, I just rambled because I was nervous the entire time. And the latter would really frustrate me.
It makes sense because we operate and like think the way that we do today because of a combination of the nature and nurture and just like how we were brought up growing up. So that's why everything is intertwined now. On that point of like being yourself, like being unapologetic, being yourself, so this is kind of a long story. But I jump rope sometimes, like, to work out.
I know where this is going, and I like it. Let's talk about it.
Oh, wait, do I want to go into that yet? I want to say really quickly on the breath.
Okay.
Oh, my God. This is crazy how, like, I didn't know the importance of breath when I was, like, at any point throughout my swimming career. Like, mental health wasn't talked about, like breath work obviously was not talked about. I saw like other like swimmers, like for example Cal Berkeley, they've always been like very, I don't know, like doing a lot of breath work themselves, but I never understood like the intention and the effect of doing breath work myself. But I would see people doing that like sometimes behind the blocks, but it was never taught to me. It was never like mentioned like to our team or anything. So that's why I've also been conditioned to just like push through, like just brute force. Like there was no, oh, I'm anxious or I'm nervous. What can I do here to bring my heart rate down? It was just like, I'm anxious, I'm nervous. Let me just lean into this and use it as fuel and do it. So I think that's why I'm used to things being uncomfortable and pushing through things and like not really putting so much emphasis on things that are in flow and in alignment, because I've just grown up always doing things that were just uncomfortable. And that was just something that I grew used to. And that's why, oh, go ahead.
And it worked, right? For
it
a
worked.
time.
It worked. But this also comes back to, like, I think I could have enjoyed it and done well if there were just like a different mode of like training or like mental training that I had. So I still, thank God, like I could still do what I did and accomplish what I did, because there were so many other people who like were going through the same thing but didn't make it to the Olympic stage. But I also think that there are multiple paths to get to the destination. It's kind of a, like, there are some people who lead with the stick, right? Beating with the stick. And there are those who lead with the carrot. But either way, you're still going to get whatever, like the donkey, where you want it to go. But the journey could be so much more enjoyable
I get that.
if you're being motivated by a carrot.
I love that. The benefit of breath work. I grew up with asthma, so I was always very conscious of my breathing.
Choice.
Yeah, but when I thought about breath work, I thought of it more of like as a limiter. So I grew up with asthma, tried to play sports when I was younger, and I remember always like wheezing on the soccer field. And then I started doing choir, and in choir you have to be very cognizant of your breath. And breathing was always my limiter. So I was cognizant of like breath from those perspectives, but not as a tool to calm my nerves. And that wasn't something that honestly I thought about until HBS, like
interesting,
a couple years ago. Yeah.
But you weren't paying attention to your breathing with the intention of calming your nerves, but was it still calming you down anyway? Like, did you notice yourself?
Was it? Well, it was definitely slowing me down. And I think, especially in choir, it forced me out of that like do mode and into that like thinking mode. I think that when I get nervous, my tendency is to freeze. And even in performing, I'm still freezing. Like I'm just executing. And I remember like having to slow down in choir and like force me out of that execution mode and to think about how I was using my breath so that I could sustain myself over the length of a note or verse or whatever. Yeah, but it wasn't the same.
Yeah, it wasn't the same, but it definitely helped. I think if you're busy thinking about slowing down your breath, you physically cannot think about whatever else like was
That's
making
true.
you super stressed
I wasn't
out.
thinking about the audience.
Yeah,
so
you were forced to think about your breath.
Yeah, that's true.
So even though you weren't aware that it was like calming you down, I think it probably did.
Was, yeah.
To a point.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah. Okay, so
tell us about the jumping group.
Yeah, so I always used to jump rope. Like that was like my supplemental training when I was swimming. Oh, great. Now my battery's running low. That's okay.
Yeah.
No,
not the battery.
Okay. Yeah, so that used to be my supplemental training. And then like I jump rope every so often. I'm still trying to figure out like what I like to do as a mode of working out. So sometimes it is jumping rope. I'm in the mood for that. Sometimes it's reformer Pilates. Sometimes it's just a long walk. Sometimes that's it right now. Yeah. But there was this one day that I was like, oh gosh, I should really like work out. I don't want to leave the house. I just like want to be at home. Like, what can I do? I was like, yeah, I know I could jump rope. Okay, let me try jumping rope. Oh, like I'm scrolling through TV and I see the Beyonce Coachella performance. It was like right before the pandemic. And I was like, okay, let me put this on, like have some have like Beyonce as my backtrack to like jumping rope because I love jumping to music and to the beat of music. And I turn it on and like the hardest part was just like putting my clothes on and deciding to like putting my workout gear on and deciding to jump rope. And then I put it on and I ended up jumping for the entirety of the concert because it was just like that. Like, okay, everyone needs to watch the Baychella performance.
Okay,
we talked about this last. Have you seen it yet?
No, I haven't.
You need
I'm sorry.
to. Oh my god, you're gonna be so motivated.
Where do we see it? Where do I watch it?
It's on Netflix,
Okay.
I think. Yeah, that was where I watched it. And I also remember watching it on live stream.
Ooh, okay.
Back then too.
I'll do it for my next Peloton.
Yes,
session.
it is so motivating.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I knew that I was like, okay, yes, I get really hyped when I'm watching like concerts. So let me do that again this time around. And I was scrolling through HBO and I saw that the Lady Gaga Chromatica tour was on, and I didn't even know she toured that album. But I put it on and I was like, you know what? I'm getting tired. No, honestly, I'm getting a little tired. I don't even want to finish the story.
It is so real. I was in it too.
Do you want to hear? I could tell the rest of it, but I'm just like, this is a marathon right now.
There's going to be such a cliffhanger in the episode. Okay, it's up to you.
I think I'm also getting stressed because the camera's like running
Okay,
out of
well, why
battery,
don't we I'm sorry. This is hilarious to me.
Okay, let me try finishing it.
Okay.
So Chromatica. Okay, yes. It's like from her Chromatica album that like came out in 2018, but because of the pandemic, she had to postpone the concert by like 2 years. So finally in 2021 or 2022, she like does a tour, but it's like 3 months long. Anyway, I'm like jumping rope to this and I'm living for it. I was like, how was I not even aware that this was happening? Like I didn't know she like toured Chromatica. This album is so underrated. I sent it to my group chat like with the gays, and I was like, when the hell did she tour this? Because this is amazing, and why haven't I heard about it? And my friends were like, yeah, I think she just kind of like likes to pretend that Chromatica didn't happen. I was like, that's so unfortunate, because this is like severely underrated. And my friend was like, yeah, she likes to pretend it didn't happen except for the Oreos. And I was like, Oreos? But then I remember that there was an Oreo collaboration with Lady Gaga. It was like Chromatica. It was like pink and green, like cream frosting, like on the inside. Anyway, yeah. I keep getting, I don't even want to, maybe I'll just scrap this whole thing.
It's okay.
I can sum it up really quickly. Long story short, I mean, long story, it's been long.
Long story long.
I was just thinking about like Chromatica and Oreos, and then I was like walking around. And I was walking to Williamsburg the other day, and I saw a sign, and I saw it was a lost cat poster. The cat's name was Oreo. So I was taking a photo of it because I was like, Oreo, we're just talking about Oreo. I sent it to the group chat, and I was like, wait a minute, I did see a cat, a black and white cat.
I'm sorry, I just keep laughing. This is just going in places I didn't expect.
I did see a cat because I only stopped because I was like, oh, Oreo. And I never see it. Like, I see lost whatever, like, all the time. And I'm like, what are the chances I actually, like, see one of these? And I was like, oh, I did, actually. So I texted the number, like, on the post. I was like, I think I saw your cat. And I just happened to have taken a photo of the cat as well.
Wow.
And they were like, that's Oreo.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
You found the lost cat.
Yes. And then, so I told them of, like, the neighborhood that I saw it. And then they found the cat just like the day after. Wow. So in a way, long story short, Lady Gaga helped me reunite a cat with its owners.
Okay, I love it. Oh, shout out to Lady Gaga.
Yes. Yes.
The Chromatica album. Wait, was it an album?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. The Chromatica album is getting oh wait, no, it's not posthumous. Posthumous, but it's not because she's not dead. Anyway, I am glad that Chromatica helped.
Yeah, she did
bring a cat home.
Yeah, she did do that.
Yeah.
I'm also remembering. I was like, this sounds like totally unrelated, but the one bridge piece to why I told the story is because she performs Born This Way. Yeah. And she's speaking about, like, I don't know, she just has this kind of interlude while she's, like, singing the song in acoustic version. And the lyrics just, like, really resonated for the first time, just, like, in a different way, maybe because we're in tandem, like, putting this pod together. I know, like, Born This Way is, like, mostly, like, a love letter to the, like, LGBTQ or to begin with, but I think everyone can, like, take something away from it. So bring it back to the start of Self 1, Self 2. Like, you're perfect just the way that you are. Aww. Like, you were born this way. Like, you don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to, like, prove yourself. You are perfect because you are you, and because you were just born this way.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that. Self 1 and Self 2 to Lady Gaga. No, wait, to Beyonce, to Oreo, Lady Gaga to Oreo.
Yeah. Oh.
To back to Self 1, Self 2. Right. Full circle. We love that. Like an Oreo.
So. Yes.
Well, I think that is a great place.
Wow, this was a journey.
This was a bit of a journey.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in for this iteration of the pod.
Yes.
You know where to find us for the next one.
Yes.
And with that,
yes, thank you for listening and going on this journey with us.
Yes, thank you so much.
And we'll see you next time.
We will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of State of Mind. If you listen to the full episode, share your thoughts with us. We'd love to hear them.
If you liked what you heard, please like, comment, leave a review, and follow us wherever you listen.
And note, this podcast reflects our personal opinions and experiences and is for informational and conversational purposes only.
It is not intended as medical, mental health, legal, or financial advice.